everyone, today I'm going to be doing a updated look at the 2028 election. I usually do these every now and then, maybe around like 3 to 4 weeks apart, because honestly a lot of stuff happens every 4 to 3 weeks. Now, based off current opinion polling, Pete Buttigieg is leading in the Democratic opinion polling. Of course, in opinion polling, without Kamala Harris, although Kamala Harris might run for president. Honestly, though, I don't think she does good on a debate stage with other Democrats. I'm not saying she's a terrible debater, but I do think someone like Josh Shapiro or Gretchen Whitmer or Pete Buttigieg are just kind of a little bit better debaters than Kamala Harris overall, and I do think that will definitely come and bite back at Kamala Harris. I don't right now, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to run. She decided not to run for governorship. But honestly, I do think... But I'm going to do this video assuming Kamala Harris doesn't run. And right now, Pete Buttigieg is leading the opinion polling. And if we look at the latest poll by Atlas Source, or Atlas Intel, Pete Buttigieg has a 26% lead. And even if we look at other polls, Pete Buttigieg still does very good. He's tied with Kamala, Gavin Newsom sometimes. But right now, I would say Pete Buttigieg, if the primaries were held today, Pete Buttigieg would win them. Now, I do think Pete Buttigieg will probably have Wes Moore as his vice president pick, just because Pete Buttigieg does not do good with the African American vote at all. A lot of polls have him at nearly 1 or 0% of the African American vote. So I do think someone like Wes Moore could definitely help with that. J.D. Vance also does not do good with minorities in the country. Marco Rubio could help that with that. I believe Marco Rubio, I'm pretty sure, what's his race? He's from, Cuban American. Yeah. So Marco Rubio could help with the Cuban vote a little bit. Florida is no longer a swing state, but they wouldn't have to spend as much money in Florida to keep the base energized. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started and fill out all the safe states. Now, I don't know if Texas is going to be a safe state in this one. Ohio's definitely going to be safe because J.D. Vance, former senator from there. And Florida will be safe because Marco Rubio, he's former senator from Florida. Pete Buttigieg will get Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York. New Jersey will not fall back into the safe column. I do think it's probably going to stay in the likelies. Vermont, definitely going to go to Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore, and Hawaii. And now we'll get into likely states, but before we do that, it's 179 to 178 with Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore up. I do believe Virginia, New Jersey, and New Mexico will all go to Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore by around 7 to 6 points. I do believe the District of Maine and Texas will both go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 7 to 6 points. Texas probably going to go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 9.5 points. And this district probably goes to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 7-8 points. I do believe without without someone connected to Minnesota, Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore will probably win it by the same margin as Harris did. We did see Biden win it by around 7%, but I do think Harris would have only won it by like Clinton numbers in 2016, by around like 1.5 points, if she didn't have Governor Tim Walz on the ticket. So I definitely do think Minnesota will probably go to Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore by around 4 to 3 points. Same thing with New Hampshire and this district of Nebraska. Now, we can look at Arizona. I do believe Arizona is definitely going to go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. It went to Trump by around 5 points, so I do think J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio win it by around 3 points. Nevada's probably going to go to them by around 2 points, maybe 3 points. I do believe Nevada is shifting to the right. So I do have Nevada going J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 3 points. Now, North Carolina is definitely shifting to the left, but I don't think Pete Buttigieg is going to be the nominee to shift it all the way to the left or win it for the left side of America. Now, I do think Wisconsin will definitely go to Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore, probably by around 0.63, like 1, maybe like 0.5%, somewhere around there. Now, Pete Buttigieg does have ties to Michigan, so I do think that will probably help Pete Buttigieg win Michigan with Wes Moore. But as we've seen with voter registration in places like Pennsylvania, and Trump nearly won it by around 2 points, I do believe J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio will be able to take Pennsylvania from Wes Moore and Pete Buttigieg. Now, Georgia, as we saw, Georgia had a 3-point swing from 2020 to 2024. As we saw, Biden won it barely by around 20 to 40,000 votes. He won it by 0.2%, and then Trump wins it by 2.2%. And in the 2016 election, Trump won it by 5 points. And Pete Buttigieg, I don't think he's going to be able to win Georgia. I definitely will have to see more of his debate performances. I do give Pete Buttigieg credit. He is going on a lot of podcasts, and I do think he's doing very well with getting his name recognition out there. And I do think Pete Buttigieg, but also J.D. Vance has also done the same thing. As we saw on Joe Rogan, a lot of people reacted positively to J.D. Vance's Joe Rogan podcast episode. We also saw a lot of people react positively to J.D. Vance's and Tim Walz's debate. Credit to both. They both had it very civil. So I do think overall, of course, opinion polling says J.D. Vance is underwater. But I do think on like a personal level, like, is he likable as a person? I think J.D. Vance is fine. As a Republican candidate, he's probably not the best Republican candidate. He's probably the best candidate for the Republican base. But right now, this is how I think the 2028 election is holding. Although, if Trump numbers go back up to the 7-point disapproval rating on average, I do think Pete Buttigieg and Wes Moore would probably take Georgia and could possibly take Arizona, but that's probably a stretch. But this is my updated 2028 election map. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and peace out.